All right, let's shift focus now. The clock is ticking for U.S. President Joe Biden. The Democratic National Convention is drawing closer. Murmurs within the blue camp are growing against the incumbent leader. Biden now faces a critical week ahead. The leader has sent a letter to his party's lawmakers insisting that he will continue the presidential race. But much needs to be done to convince his party representatives and voters alike that he can serve another term in the White House. Here's a report.
On campaign stops in the battleground state of Pennsylvania on Sunday, embattled U.S. President Joe Biden worked to ease mounting concerns from fellow Democrats about his candidacy. The 81-year-old has faced growing calls to end his re-election bid after a shaky debate performance against Republican Donald Trump in late June, which raised questions about his ability to do the job for another 4 years. Biden has vowed to stay in the race, and in a fundraising email on Saturday, he dismissed calls for him to drop out as nonsense. The Democratic president received a warm welcome at a black church in Philadelphia, and during a 6-minute speech joked about his age.
Folks, I know with every fiber of my being, I know I'm going to look like I'm 40 years old, but I've been around a little bit.
Black voters are a critical part of Biden's base, but recent public opinion polling has shown their support for him waning.
While there are those who want to erase history, Kamala and I want to make it, because black history is American history.
Biden later traveled to the state capital Harrisburg for an event with union members. Asked there if the Democratic Party was behind him, Biden told reporters yes. However, on a leadership call the same day by House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, a source familiar with the discussions told Reuters that some House Democrats said that Biden should step aside as presidential candidate. House Democratic sources have said 2 letters are circulating among House Democrats calling for Biden to withdraw. And on Sunday, Democratic National Committee member Alan Clendenin joined calls for Biden to leave, saying, quote, "This election is about the next 4 years, not the last 3.5. The DNC has steadfastly supported Biden since his debate stumbles, so any defections could suggest a deepening of the crisis. DNC Chair Jamie Harrison, meanwhile, said that Biden remains the party's nominee. Democrats have suggested that Vice President Kamala Harris, seen as the likeliest candidate to replace Biden in the November election were he to bow out, could perform well.
And then if it's President Biden, if it's someone else he chooses, which I'm certain, personally, if the president didn't run, he would humbly ask the vice president to step in, who has been extraordinary. If people made that choice in his circle, that's up to them. But he earned our nomination, and certainly he's earned our respect also. From my perspective as a young governor, new to the job, I'm 19 months in, I kind of think if a person has spent their whole life serving, they ought to be able to make up their own mind. And I respect that. We'll probably know in the next couple of days how the president feels about all this.
And to get us the latest, our correspondent Susan Tehrani is joining us live from New York. Susan, good to see you as always. The Friday sit-down interview of Joe Biden was supposed to be a sort of a cleanup act for the president after the debacle that happened at the presidential debate. But it seems like the needle did not really move, did it?
Yeah, that's such an accurate assessment. It seems like every time he's put in a situation as an interview after that debate or in front of the public, things just seem to be getting worse. And the reason for that is because there's so much scrutiny now. I mean, this is all people are talking about. No one's talking about the issues that are most important to Americans. Everyone's just concerned about what to do with Joe Biden. I do want to say that just before I came on air, we learned that after that telephone call between Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House, and some Democrats on Sunday, today, which is Monday, President Biden sent a defiant letter to Congress saying that he's not going anywhere, he's going to be the candidate, and he's not taking these calls seriously. He also called into one of the networks here, MSNBC, in morning programs, and he echoed that same message. Nonetheless, we've talked about how this coming week is going to be detrimental for the president. You have NATO leaders gathering here in Washington. The White House has promised a solo press conference by President Biden. And then ultimately he wants to hit the campaign trail. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he's going to sit down and try to make a different decision. But as for now, it seems the campaign just is ongoing, and President Biden doesn't want to go anywhere.
Absolutely, Susan. You rightly pointed out this is all that people have been talking, not just in America, but across the globe, of course. And no one's talking about Donald Trump since the presidential debate. Maybe no attention is good attention right now for Donald Trump. What's happening with the red camp?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to some of the Republicans on Sunday morning shows talk about the situation, and they were saying that, we're just sitting back and we're watching the Democrats basically just go at one another with this division that's happened within the party about supporting President Biden and not supporting him, and this situation that they've put themselves in. And, just like the rest of us, they're just watching to see what will happen next. They don't want to get involved. They think that this is a situation that will only weaken President Biden moving forward. And, like you said, they're very happy that the focus is actually on the president right now and not their candidate.
All right, Susan, thank you so much for getting us all those updates from New York. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.